Nova 7i is the talk of the town right now. In a phone that comes under $300, Huawei has packed in a very powerful hardware along with attractive cameras. In this video, we will find out if these cameras live up to the mark or not. If you are new on the channel, do hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon. Also hit the like button if you find this video useful at some point. Nova 7i brings 4 cameras at the back, with the main camera being a 48 megapixel sensor, 8 megapixels ultrawide, 2 megapixels macro and 2 megapixels depth sensor is also there. It's got a single 16 megapixels camera on the front. This phone is using Huawei's in-house Kirin A10 chipset's image processing. Nova 7i's camera application brings the typical Huawei UI. The app welcomes you with its normal photo mode capped at 12 megapixels. You can find options like the shopping mode, AI, flash and filters at the top. To enable the 48 megapixels mode, you will go into the settings and change the resolution. After the photo mode is the phone's video mode, which cannot go above 1080p at 30 frames per second. In the more section, you can find all the options of this phone, including a very powerful pro mode for photos and videos, slow-mo, aperture, moving picture, super macro and some other options that are appearing on your screen. Portrait mode of this phone comes with the beauty and the shape adjustment options. This phone has a very powerful night mode as well, which will let you change the ISO and the shutter speed. It further has the AR lens just in case you want to have some fun with your own images or videos. I have shot the images on this phone in different lighting conditions. Let's take a deeper look into the cameras of this handset. Okay, apparently there are various resolutions to capture the images as I mentioned earlier. You can either shoot in the 12 megapixels mode or in the 48 megapixels. By default, the phone will capture 12 megapixels images, but let us understand the differences first of all. This is a 48 megapixels image on your screen and this image should have been detail rich. Now here the AI and the HDR both do not work and it is all over this image. Shadows are too dark and the highlights are extra bright. Edge detection is not that good. The same image in the normal mode looks better than its 48 megapixels counterpart. If you look at these images side by side, you can understand the differences better. Normal mode's AI boosts the colors and the dynamic range also gets better. Edge detection and details are also better in the normal mode. If you look at the petals, you can quickly understand what I am trying to tell you about the details. Now this is the case with all the 48 megapixels images. These images are only big in size but do not have any practical advantage over the normal photography mode of this handset. Since the color boost enhances the images greatly and the images are properly saturated, I would suggest sticking to the normal photography mode only, and this is what Huawei itself recommends as well. You may use the 48 megapixels mode for landscape photography. Here is an image of mine from the 48 megapixels mode first. A bit dull but fine. Next is the normal 12 megapixels image, followed by a portrait and then an ultra-wide image. Now the ultra-wide image has pathetic details with very high saturation. Portrait mode's edge detection is not very good but has great background blur. Normal mode image and the 48 megapixels image are so close to each other, it's very difficult to tell the differences here. But if you look at the clouds in the background, you may find the 12 megapixels image doing better. Rear camera images in the normal photo mode sometimes come out great. I am not a fan of such a color boost, but believe me, this phone does its magic to make the images look stunning. Especially when you have a very good lighting condition, it doesn't matter indoor or outdoor, this camera can surprise you with great results. In such images, I did not find any issues with the sharpness or the saturation. Shadows and the highlights were being properly managed as well. Dynamic range, however, still is not up to the mark. Ultra-wide camera of this phone does try to bring slightly better dynamic range, but it compromises on the details, sharpness and the colors, which make it close to useless. Ultra-wide camera is good only to fit more stuff into one frame, Otherwise, forget post-processing these images because of poor quality. Nova 7i's camera performs best under low light and the indoor conditions. Look at the colors here, they are quite impressive. Details sometimes go off the grid, but it is fine for the most part. Night mode of this phone is probably the best in its class so far. The phone may produce a little bit of noise in the non-night mode low light images, but with the night mode turned on, it adds life to the images. It gathers all the light from the surroundings to light up the subject. Night mode of this camera has left a great impression on me. The macro camera is self-explanatory. It won't produce great details, but it is good to capture close or small objects. Moving on to the selfies taken by this handset, Nova 7i has a portrait mode which also works with AI turned on. The phone does not blur the background or create that bokeh effect if you are standing at a distance. The details do not remain up to the mark in normal or the portrait mode. Selfie tone is close to natural, not completely natural. The skin tone and the beauty mode can be adjusted on the phone. Huawei's selfie cameras have a separate fan base, and I believe this should remain a subjective choice. For the videos, this phone can shoot 1080p at 30 frames per second only in all the modes. The video quality is pathetic and so is the stabilization. While this phone doesn't have optical image stabilization, I believe it does not have the electronic image stabilization either. This is definitely not a phone you want to use to shoot the videos with. Take a look at the front camera videos now. And now this is the front camera video comparison between the Galaxy A51 and the Huawei Nova 7i. The Nova 7i's stabilization is quite pathetic, that I can tell you right now, and you guys can be the judge for colors and everything else in this video. Also let me know about the mic quality. Which phone's mic quality are you finding better? And I will now give you an idea about the background and the colors being captured by these handsets. And it's time for the conclusion. Nova 7i has a good camera for photography only, more specifically for the low light photography with best night mode. Do not expect good videography on this phone. The camera app is definitely feature rich, which can do many things without any third party app support. You get this camera along with a very good hardware which misses the most important thing. I am talking about the Google Play services. This phone does not have anything called Google. These two major drawbacks in my opinion do not let this phone maintain its worth. I cannot completely recommend this phone, but if you are a die-hard Huawei fan or you have just fallen in love with this phone particularly, or you are just unable to find any other phone in the same budget, go pick up the Nova 7i. But do keep in mind what you are going to get and what you are not. Drop your feedback in the comment section down below, subscribe if you haven't yet, and thumbs up too. With that said, I will sign off and I will see you in the next one really soon.